Bwanje was the kind of place most maps didn't bother naming. Tucked deep in the Malawi countryside, surrounded by maize fields and banana groves, it was home to just under 300 people. The nearest paved road was 30 kilometers away, and the only light at night came from kerosene lamps or the moon. Life moved slowly in Bwanje. Men worked the fields, women fetched water from the well, and children chased each other barefoot through the red dust. Outsiders rarely visited, except for the occasional aid worker or wandering trader. That peace ended in early June. It began with a boy named Chisomo. One evening, he went to bring in his father's goats. His family waited for him to return, but night fell and the goats came back without him. They searched by torchlight, calling his name, but there was no sign, not a footprint out of place. The next day, 2 women vanished on their way to the maize fields. By the end of the week, 7 people were gone. There was no blood, no screams, no signs of a struggle. People simply weren't there anymore. The chief, an old man named Gama, called a meeting. The villagers sat in a circle beneath the big baobab tree, whispering while he spoke. "Something is hunting us," he said. "We will not leave this village unprotected. No one goes anywhere alone." So they paired up. Farmers worked in groups, women fetched water together, and children were kept inside at night. But even then, the disappearances continued. One evening, 2 men went to the river together. Only one returned, and he couldn't remember what had happened. His eyes were vacant, his clothes damp, and when asked about his friend, he simply shook his head and whispered it was quiet. On the 10th day, a man arrived in Bwanje. His name was Yusuf, a field researcher for a health NGO. He said he was there to investigate strange cases of illness in nearby villages. When he heard about the vanishings, his expression darkened. "These things, they have happened before," he told Chief Gama quietly. In the lower Shire Valley, a whole fishing village vanished within 2 weeks. No one ever found them. Yusuf set up a small camp on the edge of Bwanje, carrying instruments the villagers didn't understand. A Geiger counter, a voice recorder, a thermal camera. He asked questions about where people had disappeared and what they were doing at the time. Comparing notes with the elders, Yusuf noticed a pattern. Most disappearances happened near the riverbank or the old abandoned well. They always occurred in late afternoon or after sunset. Witnesses spoke of a low humming sound just before the person was gone. Yusuf tested the old well one afternoon. His equipment began to click rapidly, as if picking up a signal. The air above it shimmered faintly, though the sun was not hot enough to cause such mirages. That night, he recorded something horrifying, a sound not quite like wind, not quite like water, but something between, layered with an unnatural vibration. On the 12th night, Yusuf and 3 volunteers, Maliko, Fandi, and young Peter, set up a watch near the well. They tied themselves together with ropes to prevent anyone from wandering off. At exactly 11:47 p.m., the humming began. The air thickened, the shadows seemed to bend inward, and the temperature dropped sharply. Peter began to tremble, muttering in his sleep-like state, though he was still standing. Suddenly, the rope holding him slackened. Yusuf pulled, but it felt as though Peter's body had become weightless, slipping through his grasp. Then, before their eyes, he wasn't there anymore. The rope was still tied around his waist, but it ended in nothing. Yusuf didn't sleep that night. At dawn, he told Chief Gama his theory. The old well wasn't just a hole in the ground. Something far beneath, a natural sinkhole, a cavern, or something worse, had opened into an unstable void. The humming could be subsonic vibrations, luring people close enough to vanish. Whether it was a geological phenomenon or something unknown, he couldn't say. But it was growing stronger. If we stay here, Yusuf warned, Bwanje will not last the month. The chief ordered an evacuation. By midday, families were packing what they could carry. But the phenomenon had grown bold. It no longer waited for night. As people crossed the maize fields, the shimmer appeared between the stalks. 2 more villagers were taken before they even reached the road. By sunset, only 80 people remained. They spent the night huddled in the school building, too afraid to sleep. The humming came from all directions. On the 15th day, a rescue truck from the district capital finally arrived. The driver found the road empty. No voices, no animals, no movement. The fields looked freshly walked through, but not a single footprint marked the dust. The village of Bwanje was gone. The only sign of life was a single recorder, lying in the school building. On it was the final recording Yusuf had made. It lasted just 30 seconds.
Stay together. Don't... Wait, where's Gama? He was just... God help us.
Then nothing. To this day, truck drivers passing near the abandoned road into Bwanje say they sometimes hear a faint vibration in the air, like a swarm of bees far away. They keep their eyes forward and their hands tight on the wheel. Because in that part of the world, when the earth hums, you don't stop to listen.